Hi, everyone. It's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. And today I want to talk about how do we maintain our relationships with our friends and our family, both in quarantine, but also beyond. A couple of weeks ago, one of my readers of my blog had emailed me and asked me to do a piece about, how do you maintain these relationships when you've got a lot of them, right? You've got a lot of social connections, a lot of people you want to keep in touch with. Life just sometimes gets in the way. And so, how do we actively maintain these relationships? And so I want to share today some tips for not only how do we do this in quarantine, but also how do we do it going forward. So one of the things that I always suggest, and some of this is going to seem a little maybe weird or counterintuitive, is that we actually sit down and think about who do we want to maintain relationships with actively, right? Of course, we might want to be in touch with every single interesting person we've ever met with, at a conference, but that's not realistic. So sit down and look at your contact list and sort it. Most people end up with, friends, family, and professional contacts. Then you actually want to sit down and say, okay, who of these people do I want to actively reach out to on a regular basis? Who do I want to take the effort to maintain these relationships? So, with your family and your friends, it's probably going to be more often. With professional contacts, it's probably going to be a little less often. Maybe those people you met at a conference or colleagues from your job 2 jobs ago, etc. So sit down, think about who you actively really want to make sure to reach out to. Not that you can't have contact with the other people, just that you're going to take an active part in this. And then think about how frequently do you want to be in touch with people? Maybe your family, it's every week. Maybe friends, it's every 2 weeks or every month. Maybe professional contacts, it's every 3 to 6 months. You decide. Then now's here where it gets weird, right? You're going to actually put these people on your task list, right? I'm almost embarrassed to admit that I do this, but I want to make sure that there's certain people that I am staying in touch with. So whether that's my best friend or my sister or my parents or somebody that I did meet at a conference that was really interesting, I put people on my task list in terms of when do you want to reach out. It's kind of like a personal CRM in some ways, right? And that way I can make sure to reach out. Not that, I have to every time it comes up. Sometimes somebody's name will come up on my task list and I'll say, what, I actually spoke to them last week. I'll just snooze it and then it'll come back up the next month or whatever the frequency that I set someone on. But it's a great way to be proactively reminded that you yourself had this decision point that you wanted to reach out to these people. Another thing that we can do is routinize our social life. So this again probably sounds like how fun is that, right? If we're routinizing things, but I think it's actually really effective. You can do this with date nights with your spouse or partner. Set up a regular date night. Maybe it's the first Friday of every month or whatever it is. Have a babysitter coming the first Friday of every month. Now you don't have to figure it out every single time, right? If you've got a group of friends and it's always really hard to get everyone together and figure out when people can meet, set up a standing date. So maybe it's like every Saturday you guys have brunch or whatever it is, and whoever can make it makes it, and whoever can't. But it is, standard time and place that you're all agreeing to get together. You can even take this farther, do it with annual trips. Maybe you have, your college roommates that you want to do an annual getaway with, or maybe it's something with your family. Our family always gets together around the winter holidays. And so we do it at my house. It's every year. Everybody knows it. Everyone can expect it. We don't have to be jockeying for where we're doing things and, worrying about dates and things like this. And then finally, I want to think about, what can we do going forward? What can we do to make sure that the social ties that we are building throughout this corona time and quarantine, that we actually take these newfound ways of interacting with each other going forward? I know that for me, I've been doing more video group chats with family, with cousins, with, friends from college, with, other different groups with our family. And actually, that's not something I've been doing on a regular basis. But why not? Why can't we do that stuff going forward? And so I think that now is a really good time to think about, the relationships that we want to maintain and what good can we pull out of this time when we're quarantined to really bring that back into our lives after this. So I know that for me, that's definitely something that I'm going to bring out of this is that the video chat, it doesn't have to be just something for business. It could be something for our personal lives as well. So I hope this is helpful in helping you think through the relationships that you want to maintain and how to actually go about doing that so that it doesn't feel so stressful.